As welcoming as hotels may appear, some are prime spots for unwanted spirits. As rumor has it, few lodgings are as haunted as the Crescent Hotel, where almost every room has at least one ghost. But how did this place become haunted? The haunting of the Crescent Hotel stems from a tragic, horrifying history that goes back more than a century. The hotel was once a hospital for cancer patients. At the Crescent, a doctor reportedly advertised miracle cures and led a fraudulent scheme to scam cancer patients out of thousands of dollars. It's no wonder the basement once served as a morgue. Not only is the Crescent Hotel considered one of the most haunted places in Arkansas, but it's also one of the most well-known haunted hotels in the United States. Do you have the nerve to stay at the Crescent? The Crescent Hotel is in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and the building has existed since 1886. Since it was constructed, the building has served as a place for schooling, spas, medical work, and more, which means many people have had the opportunity to inhabit the building. They have supposedly left behind ghosts over the decades from different walks of life, including children, elderly women, students, and partygoers. For a time, the building was in disrepair and unsuitable as an actual hotel, but now it is a fully restored and functioning accommodation with ghosts allegedly still intact. The hotel has more than 70 rooms, each supposedly housing a spirit, leading to the hotel's claim that it is the most haunted hotel in America. The Crescent Hotel has a notorious association with Dr. Norman Baker. He was far from a real doctor, but that didn't stop him from pretending to be one. He targeted vulnerable people, many of whom had a terminal illness. In the 1930s, inventor and stage performer Baker saw an opportunity to generate money. He started with the purchase of the Crescent Hotel, then set up a fake hospital spa inside the lodge, bragging that he could cure cancer. Baker reportedly made advertisements claiming other hospitals and doctors were not treating cancer correctly, and surgery and radiation were harmful and ineffective. He recommended patients go to his hotel instead, so they could receive injections he invented and return home cured. The injections were little more than tea, cloves, and carbolic acid, which didn't cure anyone's cancer. While the injections were not lethal, the patients still died because their condition went untreated. Baker earned more than $500,000 per year before investigators discovered his scheme. Crimes such as stealing money from people, impersonating a doctor, and facilitating slow, painful deaths should lead to a long prison sentence. But this didn't happen to Baker. Instead, authorities arrested and convicted the fraudulent doctor for mail fraud. In 1940, Baker received a 4-year prison sentence for swindling cancer patients out of millions of dollars. But since his injections did not kill anyone directly, he did not face charges for any of his patients' deaths. Once out of prison, Baker lived out his days comfortably in Florida until his death in 1958. Given that the Crescent Hotel was once a house of death and lies, it makes sense that patient spirits might still haunt the halls. Some guests have reported seeing and hearing nurses with medical carts walking through the halls and rooms. Others claim to have seen a nurse pushing a gurney toward the basement, which served as a morgue at one time. The doctor himself might also remain in the old hotel. A shape of a man wearing purple, a color Baker often wore, has reportedly appeared in the old recreation room, in the basement, and at the foot of the stairs. This spirit resembles photographs of Baker. The first tragedy to happen within the Crescent Hotel's walls dates back to the building's construction, and the man involved reportedly still haunts the hotel. Michael was supposedly a mason who worked on the hotel's construction in 1885. As the story goes, he slipped and fell from the second floor down to the first and died on impact. After his death, one of the hotel rooms built on that site, room 218, has become the building's most frequently haunted location. Michael apparently messes with lights, doors, and electronics. People can sometimes hear a falling man scream, and one guest alleges they saw blood on the walls and hands coming out of the room's mirror. In the basement, easily one of the more haunted locations in the hotel, visitors have said they felt fear and perhaps even the touch of a spirit. The basement was Baker's morgue during the hotel's hospital days. When a patient died, a nurse brought the body to the basement and refrigerated it, then Baker performed an autopsy. Today, the hotel basement retains the walk-in refrigeration room and an autopsy table. People who visited the basement reported getting sick, experiencing lights that go off, and seeing strange orbs or Baker's ghost. Theodora is apparently one former cancer patient who hasn't left her room. Those who stay in room 419, Theodora's former space, might experience a few disturbances. Visitors have reported hearing someone fumbling for their keys outside the door. Others have claimed their belongings appeared reorganized. Theodora has even reportedly packed visitors' bags, perhaps hinting she wants them to leave. But she's hardly a malicious spirit. According to the hotel's housekeepers, she politely introduces herself as a patient there, then vanishes into thin air. Before the Crescent Hotel became a hospital, it housed the College and Conservatory for Young Women in 1908. The building served as a hotel in the summers, but it was a college during the off-season. A deadly tragedy took place there during this time. Supposedly, a young woman died when she plummeted from a balcony to the floor below. No one knows whether someone pushed her or she jumped to take her own life. Today, some guests report seeing a restless spirit standing near the balcony and hearing her screams. Not all ghosts in the hotel are suffering souls. Some may be interested in revelry. In the restored Crystal Dining Room, hotel employees have reportedly seen Victorian figures in dress attire dancing and drinking. This paranormal partying usually occurs in the early morning. The revelers include a silent, well-dressed man having a drink and a man who says he is waiting for a lovely girl he had seen the night before. Hotel workers and guests also claim to have witnessed the spirits of a bride and groom appearing in the dining room's mirror. The Crescent Hotel ghosts aren't harmful or aggressive, but they can get a little mischievous. The dining room ghosts like to move things around at night, sometimes while people are there. One Christmas, the decorations and tree moved across the room during the night, and hotel staff came down in the morning to find menus scattered across the floor. One particular ghost might be responsible for some of this mischievous mayhem. Guests have reported seeing the shape of a little boy skipping around the halls and playing in the kitchen. He might also be culpable for making pots and pans fly off their hooks. No one knows the identity of this child ghost. The Crescent Hotel's spirits might scare away more timid hotel guests, but the ghosts are generally a massive draw for the hotel. Many ghost hunting groups and TV shows have investigated the hotel, making the spot famous for fans of supernatural phenomena. The hotel is often fully booked months in advance. Even when people don't stay there, they still sign up for ghost tours. October is the hotel's peak time, but paranormal investigation festivals and ghost celebrations also draw spirit-loving guests.